Yeah. Well, hey, Fred.
All right.
Yeah.
We're live. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Every time I see him, he's always like a flurry of activity.
There's always a flurry. Listen, man, that's my life. There's a flurry of activity. That's just how life
Take it from an old guy. Essentially, at some point in time, you're going to want
to. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. There are definitely days where I was having this discussion today. I was talking about the difference between inner peace and environmental peace. I said, I have inner peace. It's just, I very rarely have environmental peace.
Boy, and that's a luxury. If you ever get to that point, it'll be a choice.
Yeah.
But if you really obtain that, comes with that comes as the reward for a lot of hard work for a long period of time.
Yeah. I don't think I'm cut out for environmental peace. I feel like because I have the inner peace, right? It's the environment. Like if things are too calm, it's like, what's going on? Like it doesn't feel right.
That's you.
No, I need it. No, I need it more. I need it now more than I did probably 5 years ago. So I do seek it more often, but it's still, I haven't found it yet.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, that's kind of interesting because, again, we don't talk about this stuff ahead of time, but I want to talk about your weaknesses.
Okay, which one?
Well, okay, fair enough. I want to talk about because so much of what you do on a daily basis is, let me put it this way. When I think about you and our friendship, the one thing I observe is constant and never-ending improvement. I feel like when you get up every day, you're refining and honing a skill set. Sometimes by big margins, sometimes by very infinitesimal margins. But the idea is to always move forward and be a little better than the day before, right? Would you not agree?
Yeah, okay. Right. Yes.
So I think people that try to do that oftentimes they're very much, I think, correct me if you think this is wrong, but I think they're in touch with their deficiencies.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's not the focal point. The focal point is to hone the skill set to positive. Would that be a correct assumption?
Exactly right. Yes.
Okay. So what's probably not talked a lot about in your life, especially publicly, is areas of improvement, things that you're aware of in your life, whether personal or business, that you work on. And maybe even seek help, whether it's reading or whatever it is to improve on.
Yeah. So here's how I look at it. So I have plenty of weaknesses and I have strengths. I learned this probably 10 years ago. I can't remember. It was either a book I read or I was listening to a podcast or something, but the person was talking about, when you have strengths and weaknesses, if you spend a bunch of time focusing on your weaknesses, then you have a bunch of average skills. He says, if you just focus on what you're good at, your strengths, and your weaknesses, you either hire someone else to do those things or just don't, or delegate those duties, then you become really good at a few things. And that's what I've always honed in on. It says, okay, like, what am I good at? How do I get better at that? Because I have a ton of weaknesses, right? Like I'm a control freak, and that's because I have a hard time trusting people with work products or trusting people to do things. Now I've gotten a lot better because I have an amazing team around me.
Because your name's on it. Does it all come back to that?
I mean, that's a big part of it. Yes. But I just always, I lack patience. So if I ask someone to do a task and it's not done at the speed I want it done, I'll just do it. And that's not the right way to approach things, right? Like that's not.
It makes management tough.
It makes management very tough because, but I've also realized that I have to be very clear. I need this by 11:55 today, or I'm going to do it. Like I need to be that clear in my direction because because that's how people communicate. I also make a lot of assumptions that people understand what I'm saying or understand what I'm thinking. And I've come to realize over time that I just see the world a lot differently than most people. So that's just a few of my weaknesses. I have plenty more, but some of those you do have to learn. They're not. I don't try and strengthen them. I learn to adjust them to the environment. So being having to be in control, like that's something that I don't think I can make a strength. It's just I have to learn to temper that and be adaptable in certain situations. But I have to have my hand close to the wheel. I don't know that ever will go away.
Would you consider that a weakness though?
I think it can be because if you have great people around you and you're not letting them drive the car, they're never going to learn to drive the car. You know what I mean?
You're also wasting probably their talent pool.
Correct. That's exactly right. So I'm learning to get better at that. But from just a tactical standpoint, I mean, God, where do I begin? Weaknesses. Like I don't like details. I'm a big picture person. So I don't want to get bogged down in the details. I will, if someone's talking too much or giving me too much information, I'm gone. They've lost me. Because I'm either already assuming that I know what the answer is or the problem, or I'm like, just tell me the problem. I'll ask questions. I also have a hard time articulating what I want, right? In the business standpoint, like everybody gets frustrated because they don't know exactly what I want. I say, it's hard for me to say the help I need. Ask me questions.
Is it hard for you to ask for help?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. That's another weakness. Yes, it's hard for me to ask for help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very hard to do because, again, like I've always just been used to doing it myself. I've always just done things myself. So it's very hard to ask for help. And then, you know, it's hard for me to articulate the help I need or the things I want. So I always tell people, just ask me. I'm better at asking me questions. Like if you ask me questions, you'll get more information out of me than you waiting for me to tell you what to do.
Okay.
There's a lot. I mean, it's just, I think communication is probably the biggest weakness. Like I communicate very well with people in my profession, but communicating my needs or my wants in a professional atmosphere is probably one of my weaknesses. You know,
that's surprising.
I mean, it's true though. Cause I mean, what I do, the way I do things is different than someone else, the way they do them. I'm assuming they'll know what to do. You know what I mean? And so I just say, hey, this needs done. I assume they know what that means. But when they don't do it the way I want it done, I have to realize that it's because I didn't communicate the way I wanted it done, or why, or way I wanted, or what the definition of done is.
So you wind it back to the beginning. And it starts with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take ownership of that.
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely will.
Jim Rohn used to say the following. It always kind of stuck with me. I want to know what your impression of this is. He would say that it's important to understand the difference between acknowledgement and dwelling. He says you have deficiencies and you have areas that need improvement. Your focus should be on your skill set and honing that. Yeah. And your acknowledgement of your deficiencies are important.
Correct.
Because that's the only way they will. But he says, but you need to understand there's a difference between acknowledgement and then dwelling on it. And he's trying to say, don't dwell on deficiencies. Channel the energy to the skill set.
Agree.
And it always stuck with me.
Yeah, because dwelling on it's like an anchor. It's like you're carrying an anchor around.
Bingo.
Right? That's what it is.
Bingo.
If you just acknowledge it. Yeah,
it dominates the mindset.
100%. Like I acknowledge every day. I probably have more weaknesses than most people, just because I've done so much work on myself and have tried to develop so much. Like I always say, like if your viewpoint is like this, right? You have a little bit of weaknesses, a little bit of strength. When your viewpoint opens up, you see so many more weaknesses, yet you also see so many more strengths. It's right. As you evolve and mature and gain more wisdom, I believe as people, if you're truly being truthful to yourself, you start finding a lot more strengths you have, but just as many weaknesses.
And it's how you internalize those weaknesses too, which enables you to go forward.
Yeah, exactly. I think the people that focus on their weaknesses never get as far as they could in life.
Yeah, that must be what he meant by dwelling.
Yeah. Well, it's true, because think about it. If I know my weaknesses and I spent all my time trying to figure out how to make those better, my strengths deteriorate. So I'm not focusing on them, I'm not making them. It's like a muscle, right? If I'm not working the muscle, it's going to deteriorate. It's going to get smaller. Like if my left arm is strong and my right arm is weak, and I stop working my left arm and start working my right arm, I'm going to have a stronger right arm than a left arm. You're just changing the imbalance. Instead of just making this one arm, like I don't need this other arm because this one is so strong.
Do you think that there is a guttural or a natural reaction in a lot of us, or most of us, maybe not to want to acknowledge limitation, and then by not acknowledging it, let me ask you this. Let's take a step back from there. Is it really possible to fool oneself say, well, I'm not going to acknowledge my weaknesses. I'm going to concentrate on my,
Okay.
But ultimately you're looking in the mirror every day,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's there. You can lie to oneself only for so long.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes. It's there. Let's be real. When the lights are off and when you're alone by yourself, all your weaknesses. You just have to be comfortable admitting them to yourself. Admission is the first step. Acknowledgement comes second.
Is that like in your book? Is that part of the dark side?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely it's funny because I had this discussion this week too. We were got into this whole discussion about certain people that have, like, we were talking about just the way people grow up.
Mm-hmm.
When they have experiences like of loss or betrayal, it can make people go one of two ways. It can be channeled to really create that energy that propels a person forward, or it can trigger that dark side that they can't control, and it makes them derail themselves. So the whole light and the dark side, like if you look at the Jungian psychology,
Mm-hmm.
it's really the balance of two, the integration of the two. And I think it's very few people know how to do that. Like I've worked on it a ton over the years, and I still haven't fully figured it out, but I've gotten a lot farther than I have in the past. So it definitely, that dark side, if you don't know how to integrate it and control it, and you start noticing those weaknesses or those things happen to you that create this negative feeling, that can cause a person to derail themselves. It is a very strong energy, that dark side energy. And if you know how to integrate it into your life, it can be a very powerful thing. It can make you understand people at such a different level and understand situations at such a different level when you integrate it and understand it. But if you don't know how to do that, then it controls you.
Do you ever struggle with, let's say, a weakness you would have? Do you ever struggle with the time component of that? Like sometimes you want to dive in and learn it and figure it out or work on it, but then it's that butts up against the fact that, is it a productive use of my time and money based upon everything else that's going on? Like, how do you manage that? Like,
yeah, I always equate everything I do to that. Like, what is the value of my time?
Mm-hmm.
So from, cutting the grass to washing a car, right? What's my hourly rate compared to what's it going to cost me to do it? So I look at, like, if I focus on this weakness or deficiency, is it going to make me a better professional? Is it going to equate to something like an outcome, an ROI? Like, what is the ROI? Like, I'm always calculating. Like, everything I do, I calculate an ROI on. And that's just my default.
Yeah, and it probably bleeds into your personal life too.
100%.
Yeah,
it is my default. I'm like, going back to weaknesses, my weaknesses are some of the default functions. I say, like, if I'm a computer, my default function is everything's an ROI, and if it's not being done as quick as I want it done, I'm just going to take over and do it. Those are my defaults. So if I see something, or if someone asks me for help and just lets me get in, I'll just finish this. I'll just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, truly, like, if someone is, making something, like cooking a meal, and they say, hey, can you help me with this? And I go over and help the person with it, whomever it may be, and they step back, I'm just going to take over. Because my default is to complete the task, close the loop. That's my default. I want to close the loop.
How does that become, or how does that stay effective for you or become relevant the larger the organization grows, though?
Well, that's the struggle we're going through right now is the loop closing. That's the biggest gaps in the organization, is we're not always closing loops. And that's where I get frustrated. And it's funny because I watched a video this week. It just came across my YouTube feed, and this woman was talking about, like, 5 habits of successful people. And habit number 1 was close the loops. And I was like, holy shit, this is the first time someone I've heard, like, really talk about it in this way. And there was this psychology for it. I can't remember what it was, but it's like, when the loop's not closed, part of your brain is filling up with that information,
unresolved,
and it just sits there and it doesn't do anything, but it takes up space. And that's what happens to me. So if I give someone a task, like say I send something to, I'll just use Gabe as the example because he's my son and he's the easiest and he doesn't,
It's easy to beat up on
he's
Gabe.
easy to beat up on, yes. But if I say, hey, can you do this for me? Like he may do it, but he doesn't tell me he did it and it's done. So I'm wondering, like closing the loop with me is, yes, I will do it. I did it. Like that's just close the loop, telling me it's done. The task is complete. When people don't do that with me, it clogs up my head and it slows me down. That's the biggest organizational struggle we're having right now. And maybe it's all coming from me because I'm the one that need to close the most.
Is that a situation where you just have to express to your folks that you need that verification?
It's expressing it and re-expressing it and re-expressing it again until everybody understands it.
Okay.
Because it's building habits. It's right. People aren't used to that. People are used to just, okay, I'll do it. And they just do it and then just move on.
So completing the task is only a part of the process. You want also informed that the task has been completed.
Me personally, like if I'm delegating a task to someone, until they've built such a level of trust with
Understandable.
me, meaning that they've never effed up in a year. That means everything I've given them has been exactly how I want it in the time I want it done, and there's been no issues. Well, I haven't had the issues because we're a growing firm. It's not, I wouldn't expect to be there. To me, it's like, yes, I did the task. It is done. Here's the outcome.
Okay.
That's it. Like close that loop with me. Because if I'm delegating, I don't want to deal with it. All I want to know is that it was done and done correctly. That's it.
Yeah. I guess you could say it's emotional weight, but the cognitive weight of unresolved things,
it's the worst,
whether it's personal or business.
Yes.
Yeah, they all stack.
Yes.
And they clog.
And I think that is the biggest struggle people have with me, that they don't understand. And that's my own fault for not articulating it. Like everybody always thinks I have all my shit together. I don't have all my shit together, right?
Well, you're a good time manager. I think it gives the outward viewpoint as you're very together.
Sure, but take it like this. I have people in the organization that have functions, right? So they have tasks to do in their functions, right? They're doing them. They're all doing a great job. My job is to make sure all of the tasks and all of the functions are complete. So as I'm divvying out tasks or making sure, and those loops aren't closed, then you have finance functions, legal functions, marketing functions, operational functions. They're all unclosed loops in my head. Outside of the stuff I have to do myself, the legal work, the emails I have to respond to, the managing the firm aspects that I manage myself. So think of that way. Like if I have on a given day, there's probably, outside of the work I do, like the legal work and the management of the firm that I do, there are probably 100 to 200 tasks a day that people are doing that in my head, I'm wondering if they're done. It could be as simple as, did you send that email? Did you call this person? Was this done? Was this bill paid? Was this insurance thing done? Where does this stand? Like, was this made? What's the status of this engagement? Like that stuff is running through my head because we're not closing the loops, and we're figuring out that process now, how to do it. It's hard, man. It is the hardest. The bigger we get, the faster we move, the harder it's getting.
I bet.
Because it's like even to the point where like explaining like response times and emails, like, hey, if you get an email from a client before 6 p.m., respond to them. You got the email. You'll get back to them tomorrow if you don't have the answer.
Right.
We just getting them to close loops with clients, because that puts us above and beyond other people.
That's where it starts, right?
Correct. Yes, exactly. So it is a struggle, my friend.
Do you think that, well, let me ask this. Are you able to generally and effectively take those needs you have, let them coalesce into an easy, understandable way to convey what you need? Are you able to do that where it is received, and I won't say well, but received correctly by those who need to know that?
Probably not. No, I'm probably terrible at that. I mean, honestly, and I'm learning to get better. And so on one of the mastermind calls in the Hampshires group that I'm in, someone said something like really, really profound. I never heard it this way. It's like the golden rule. He said, but there's the platinum rule. He said, the golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated. And I'm like, shit, like that's how, like, I think that way. I've never articulated it in that way.
Yeah, that's solid.
Like when I talk to, the people in my organization, I said, think about the client's perspective. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, talk to them how they perceive information. But to me, like, he said it in such a simple and concise and succinct way. It was like, that's exactly it. Treat people how they want to be treated, not how you want to be treated. How I want to be treated may not be how you want to be treated. I need to figure out how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And communicate it to. And that's my struggle. Like, to me, I'm a brevity person. So I just tell people quick shit. I mean, if they have questions, they'll ask me questions. Now
they
I'm
don't
really
always think like
right. That's what I'm realizing. It's like, okay, like, I know this person needs all of the details step by step. So I'm learning that. And it is hard for me. It's not the easiest thing to do.
Well, probably because it's not your default.
No.
Because you don't need it.
Right.
It's that myopic thing that we're all guilty of. It's like this is what I needed to maneuver. Yeah. I just assume everybody else needs exactly the same thing.
That's exactly what I do. It's like playing the record.
That's almost primal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's where I'm trying to work. That is something I'm trying to work on. Trying to adjust.
When you find a deficiency, they're probably not, you're not finding any new ones. You're probably when you're working on a known deficiency. Sure. Give me examples of tools that you use, besides obviously reading's a huge one for you. But I mean, is there, the reason I asked that question is I think all of us, when we have that heart to heart, we look in the mirror, we know there are deficiencies and we identify them. And we also know probably that a lot of them are either correctable or there are things we can work on, but we choose not to for time, laziness, whatever you want to say. Besides reading, because I know you read so much, what other tools and methods do you use to work on things?
I mean, two, right? So one is just journaling my thoughts. I just write things down, and try and solve it by just through free writing. The other thing is observation. Like, if I realize, okay, I'm not communicating this correctly to people, then I watch how that person communicates with others, how they say the information, how they communicate things. So I start watching and listening, and I'm like, okay, like, that's how they are relaying the information, and that's how they may want. Then I try it again, and maybe I see improvement. So it's like I pressure test things in the moment.
So you're basically, if I'm reading you correctly here, what you're saying is that you watch how they process information and deliver it to others, because in there lies their capacity to fully understand you if you custom your delivery to them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean,
it's a lot of work.
I listen
to do it effectively.
Well, but you have to learn to listen. You have to watch people and observe and pick up on cues.
It's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, it's watch body language, like listen to the word choices, like listen to the tone of voice. Like, those are all skills you have to learn to do, and it just takes time, right? But those are the tools. Like, that's really when I know that I'm doing something off, I try and zoom out. Like, literally in my mind, I think about, like, I'm a like a drone, like zooming out and saying, let me watch it from above and just see how this person operates in other aspects of life. And then say, okay, am I operating in their zone of reference? If I'm not, then I say, okay, how do I operate within their zone of reference? And that's what I try and figure out. And it takes time, right? I don't figure it out instantaneously. But because I've observed so many people over my life, I feel like I get to it a lot faster than others.
Have you changed the way you interview or the things you look for with employees over the past 5 years?
Oh, yeah. I mean, our interview process today is probably going to be completely different than it was a year ago. But I mean, I'm not hiring anybody right now. But it's definitely, because to me, it is the culture is so important. Because we've had bad hires in the past, it will take a long time to hire the next person. unless I know them and I've known them for years and it's a no-brainer, I will take a long time to hire someone because I want to make sure, one, how does that person communicate? How do they think? How do they solve problems? Can they solve problems? Do they understand what the problem solving process is? Problem solving is not coming and saying, how do you want this? Or what can I do here? It is, here's the situation. Here is some solutions. Here's what I think is best. You know, the 1-3-1, like that's, so yeah, there will be definitely a longer process for our next hire. I can promise you that. It's changed a lot. In the past, like, you're a body, you can do the work. Cool, you're good.
When you look at your sphere and people that you know either well or maybe expanded to people you just know as acquaintances, do you think one's refusal to acknowledge deficiencies continues to be the number one thing that holds people back? Or maybe one of the things that hold people back?
I think that's definitely part of it, right? Acknowledging their weaknesses or deficiencies. I think the other thing that holds people back is just the sheer lack of understanding of what it takes.
Okay.
Because I think people, people have this perception of what it takes to be successful or to make it. And they start doing it, and then it doesn't happen as fast, and then they just kind of fall back. It's like what you think it is, multiply that by 10. I can tell you that from experience.
For sure.
When I started the firm, I thought this is what it's going to take. It took 10 times the effort for 10 times as long. Like, truly, like, you have to be willing to give up something. That is the hardest in any business. Like, if you're going to be if you work for a company, it's one thing, right? You kind of have, there's, you can kind of define boundary, but if you're an entrepreneur or wanting to build your own business or even be an intrapreneur, like, there is a level of effort it takes that it's going to take a long time to understand. And that is a situation where something's going to have to give. You can't have it all the ways you want it because it's an impossible task.
Have you ever wondered about this? I don't know if it's a dichotomy. It might be. Isn't it interesting, though, that we will often invest in something monetarily, right? Whether it's a stock, a bond, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yet the concept of investing for a greater future benefit is oftentimes lost when it's an investment in oneself.
Yeah.
We understand the concept, obviously, because of other activities, but we can't turn the knob and point it to ourselves.
Right.
Wonder why that's so prevalent.
Because there's no tangible result that they see. Think about it. People need instant gratification.
Okay.
Right. And you're investing in yourself. You don't see a tangible result quickly. Like, I've been working with Mike for 5 years. Right. I've had great results and things have changed, but in the moment, there wasn't one thing I said, well, this is a tangible result.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Right. Like, I look back and say, yeah, all these key decision points in my life were triggered by discussions with him. So it helped tremendously, but you have to be willing to do it. Like, you have to want to work on yourself. It's like you have to want to go to the gym, right? You have to want to improve yourself. Some people are okay where they are. I always say, this is my theory. Wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. So either accept that and just be good, or if you're complaining or you want more, it's going to require you to do more. Like, you don't get paid first.
Right.
You do more. And this is, again, I hate to make the generational argument, but I feel like this is a big difference in, the older generation, the younger generations. Like, we just always realize you have to prove yourself. Like, no one's going to pay me shit until I show that I'm worth that. Now it's like, well, I'm worth that. I should be paid that. It's like, but yet you haven't done anything. You're wet behind the ears. Show, like, I will pay anybody whatever they're worth. If you're worth $1 million and you show me your value is $1 million, you will get paid $1 million. But until then, you're going to be paid what I perceive your value as. And it's your job to change it.
What's a hard concept for all young people?
Yeah.
But I have also noticed, as being an early Xer, that the generations following the X's really, it's not a blanket statement, but
No.
it's a tendency.
Yeah.
Within.
Mm-hmm.
There is a tendency I've observed to
Mm-hmm.
be, I'm not going to go out and say it completely entitled, but have expectations that are quite different than what our generation's expectations were.
Oh yeah. Yes, 100%. It's like, and again, like this is not like the people in my firm I love. I have a younger group, so I hate to say this because I don't see any of them like this. But I'm saying, like, I have clients at work with younger populations and have that generational divide, and a lot of with them, what I talk to them about, it's like, my people want to make $100,000 a year, but work 4 hours a day, and they don't want to pick up their email or touch their phone after 5 o'clock or after 4 o'clock on a Friday till Monday when they come in. It's like, that's not, like, and that's what people don't understand. Like, if you go into a job, your salary, you're getting paid for the 40 plus hours a week you're supposed to give that employer, right? You don't make more money by just existing over time, by just maintaining what you do over time. You may get a cost of living adjustment every once in a while, but those are kind of even falling by the wayside.
It's a value equation, right?
If you say, okay, like, I'm getting paid X, but I'm going to show you the next 1 year that I bring 20% more value than I'm getting paid for, it's a no-brainer. To me, it's a math equation. Yes, you'll get paid that. You'll get paid the 20% more because you brought that value. But what they don't understand is what that value is, how to show that value. To me, again, discussions we're having now because of AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
If if an employee just wants to do tasks, most of those people, including myself, can be replaced in the next 12 to 24 months with a AI agent that makes 0 errors. What they can't replace is the human element. And when I say the human element, is being able to observe an environment and do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. Not in the realm of 9 to 5, not in the realm of this is only my job duties. It's like, hey, if you see something that needs done in the environment you're working in, do it. That's how you'll bring value, especially in today's day and age, because you're not going to bring value by saying I can do more creative technology stuff. I've learned, I'm a lawyer. I've learned how to program an AI agent in 3 hours on a Sunday watching YouTube. So I can get someone to do all the tactical stuff. What I can't do is replace the human beings. So the human beings have to show their value by showing the human aspect, which is the emotional intelligence, to being able to read a room, to do what is required when required, not when it's you want to do it or when it's within your work hours or work, description. Like, that's value you bring.
Would you be fair to say what you're describing is that the human needs to refine the human skill set?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That is a great way to articulate it. It is refine your skill set of being human. Because technology can replace all the shit we do. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you think about it, like, I can have AI. Like, if I wanted someone to just do data entry for me, right? Like, I need this person to go in and to all these documents and pull data from it and put it into an Excel spreadsheet. I could pay somebody to do that, to flip through documents, or I can create an AI agent and say, hey, when I say this and I upload these documents here, review them, take the information, put it into this Google Sheet. In 5 minutes, I can go through the same amount of documents it would take a human being 1 week to go through. Mm-hmm. So think about that. Mm-hmm. But I can't say, hey AI, walk around my office, look at what's going on, and do the things that you think need to be done. Mm-hmm. I don't have a robot. But anyone in my office or any office can walk around and say, okay, this person, they need help. Let me ask them what they need help with. Oh, the printer's out of paper. Let me put printer paper in there. Oh, this needs done. I should be doing that. Like, that's the value people can bring.
Valuable.
Right. And it's funny because, like, it's shifted. Like, that was the stuff everybody used to do. The value was like in the technology skills. And now it's like
the equation
has shifted completely back. be the environment, like understand the environment, increase the culture. That's the value you'll bring as an employee.
And the funny part about it is it flipped, but it's easier now. We should the human part of this should be in us.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not it shouldn't be a learned skill.
No, it should not be. Absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation, but that's a really interesting point I hadn't thought about. Yeah, the human skills.
I think about this all the time. So I'm
more
doing
valuable.
such a deep dive about AI and the speed of technology, and it's like, yes, you still need human intervention. And if you are a person that is not willing to do that in your role, you can be replaced. Like if I didn't add value, if I didn't pick up the phone when my clients call me and listen to them and be empathetic and talk to them, and if all I did was draft contracts and give them legal memos, they could probably learn to use AI to find that information themselves. They may not get the exact information they need to know how to do the right prompts or even know what to look for, but the value I bring is the human connection. Like I want clients to understand that I solve the problem and they can come to me no matter what day, no matter what time, and I will pick up the phone and handle it.
I'll make the argument that as AI continues to improve at an exponential speed and rate, all humans will have left to contribute is the refinement and the honing of the human skills.
Yeah, absolutely right. That is exactly right.
Because we're never going to compete with the analytical with computers. We're never going to.
No, I mean, think about what you do, right? Like think about if I'm a real estate, not to pick on the real estate agent, but if I'm a buyer, I could literally create an AI agent and say, I want you to scan Zillow and all these websites every single day at 9 a.m. and send me every new listing that comes up on the market and give me a price analysis compared to other comparable markets, taxes. And I can program that probably within an hour.
Certainly.
And it will spit it out for me. It will send me something every morning at 9 a.m. Like I use ChatGPT. I have certain news alerts and things I want to learn about. Every morning at 9 a.m. I get an email. Here's this, here's this. And it does an analysis for me.
Yeah.
So,
it's
but they
intangible.
But they can't do what you do by showing them the properties, making them feel comfortable, giving them the human viewpoint. That's what it can't do.
That's what we get paid for.
Exactly.
To be their advocate, their human advocate.
Exactly right. Yes.
And I know that's not a popular thing to say in my industry, but our human skills, and I believe this for like the last couple of years, our human skills are what will ultimately define the job.
100%.
If it isn't doing it now, it'll definitely be doing it in the very near future.
Yes, it's going to define most industries. It really is.
Is that something you think that is just not understood on a widespread basis right now?
I don't think it is, because I went to an event where there was an AI expert talking to a room full of business owners, and if there were 50 business owners in that room, there were about 10 of us that knew what was going on. The other 40 was like, "This is interesting." New stuff happening. Like this is not new stuff. I've been doing this for 6 to 9 months.
Right.
There's a lot of people behind the curve on this. A lot. I mean,
it really kind of reminds me of the web, but moving much faster. But when the web hit 4 or 5 years in, the businesses that just ignored it or threw their hands up in the air ceased to exist.
Yeah. I mean, if you are a service provider, you should be getting really good at your people skills. In any, be it lawyer, accountant, real estate, insurance, financial advisors. They're even saying like surgeons. Like they're having AI do surgeries that are so precise.
Robotic arms and all that. Absolutely.
Like, think about that. So precise. And eventually they won't need the doctors to run the robots anymore, because the robots will be smarter than the doctors. That's what's going to happen. So you got to be really good. But a robot's not going to have good bedside manner.
Correct.
The doctor can make you feel comfortable, can make you feel safe, secure, and have that emotional intelligence. That's what people need to be working on.
Again, I'll go back to my point. It's theoretically going to be easier.
Theoretically,
for humans, because they don't need to have the heavy weight of the analytical that we've had to have. It's going to redefine careers and job descriptions and the way you go to academia to get trained. Everything's going to change.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it should be easier on the
It
human
should be.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the customer service thing was always pounded into one's head that that's the differential. That's
Yeah.
the differential, and I wholly believe that it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it has never been the differential in the past as it's going to be now and going forward.
100% right.
It might be the only differential.
Yeah, 100%. Because again, like it's the way technology is moving. That same conference or that same seminar I went to, the guy said, I might have told you this, that as of right now, AI has an IQ, I think it's like 150 or like what Einstein had. By the end of the year, it'll potentially have an IQ of 1,000. Think about that. Think about how smart that is. Mind numbing, like how that should excite everybody and scare the shit out of everybody. Because if you're not keeping up with it, like, you need to understand that you're gonna get blown away by someone who has. That's the scary part. The guy used an example of financial advisors, and I have a ton of friends that are financial advisors, and I will always use one because to me the value is in the conversations I have. But this guy said, he's like, I put my profile in what I want to invest, and it gave me a detailed financial plan better than he's ever got from any advisor he's worked with.
I believe it.
That's scary.
Oh, I thoroughly believe it.
So you have people that are just transactional that are going to look at that.
That's and that's for those in business. I think that's going to be the key word going forward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is the service you provide strictly transactional? Because if it is, if it's weighted just in transactions, then I don't need to interact with you because I can go get that with technology.
Yep, exactly. I don't want to be in transaction. Like I won't take a client that I feel is going to be transactional to them because they're not going to see my value.
Right.
And so why would I want to be in a relationship with a client that just sees me as transactional? I'm there to help them and be their counsel and guide them and support them along the way. Like that's a relationship.
Yeah, it's very, and I'll share this with you. It's very interesting. The AI, the human differences, even in radio right now, as terrestrial radio continues to evolve and change, and is certainly and it is not as prevalent as it once was. We still have that thing, and that thing is the human on the other end of that microphone. Now, granted, there are AI DJs supposedly and all that, and they've been failing miserably as personalities.
Sure.
They've been functioning as broadcasters, reading the news, reading the entertainment report. But as a DJ, the human element's not there yet.
Right.
So that's what, quite frankly, that whole industry hangs their hat on is the human on the other end of the microphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it is.
And that can be replaced at some point in time, right?
It might. I think as technology is the oversampling rate and it learns the human traits and all that, who knows what the future holds there. But from a survival standpoint over the next 10 years, back to your point, we as humans need to refine the human skills.
Yeah.
And understand their value because it might be the only value that keeps us relevant.
I mean, 100%. And that's because seriously, like you could get your entire life ran for you with AI. Any question you have, if you go down the rabbit hole and learn how to prompt these AI, models, anything you want to get done, from travel planning to meal planning to fitness routines to, your entire life can be scripted for you.
Correct.
You really can. If you want to put your life on, I don't want to say autopilot, but you want to take out all the planning you need to do in life, you could do that today easily.
For practically nothing.
If not nothing. Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing. And people got to understand, like, that's what we're dealing with. And it's not going away. We're not going to wake up one day and be like, oh, AI is gone. No, it's here.
What's still weird about the whole thing, though, the million-mile view back, let's take a step back and look at the whole thing. It's like we still have this one human advantage, at least now, and that is that we can pull the plug.
Can we?
I don't know. I don't know for how long.
Right.
That's the thing.
But pull the plug on what? What are we pulling the plug on?
Well, I guess what I'm saying essentially is these networks run off of power, computer power at this point in time.
Yeah.
That power can be a human can make a conscious decision to cut that power.
Sure.
But that's the last bastion of quote unquote control that we have.
Unless, and I'll play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Unless there's sun power generators. Like say these data
centers.
It's
gonna happen.
Just end up saying, we don't want to rely on the power grid. We're gonna have a sun power generator.
Of course.
Like I don't want to rely on the power grid in Pittsburgh, considering after the storms, all the power that went out. Like, so people were getting generators. Like that could happen.
The surge of nuclear is coming too. The resurgence of nuclear, I think, is coming too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And all right, last question.
Yeah.
If you had to sum up all the things that you work on as a person, areas that you identified that you would like to improve on, okay, which one keeps you up at night?
Keeps me up at night.
What deficiency keeps you up at night, if there is one?
No, I mean there's plenty to keep me up at night. I think the biggest one is, why don't people understand? Why that's if I'm being honest with myself, it's like, why can't people see what I see? Like that keeps me up at night the most, because it bleeds into everything. Because there are some things that I see so clearly. People are like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not going to happen. Or my intuition will tell me something. It's coming. I feel it. And it's just like, no one gets it. No one understands it. And I get questioned and pushback all the time. And that's what keeps me up the most, probably.
So to resolve that, is a solution not to be so sharing? Like to keep those thoughts and ideas.
I wish I could do that
inwardly. I don't know.
I don't know, because it's hard for me to do that, because I want to express it, because I want to. I always want to know that I've done everything I could.
Of course.
So I think I don't know that I'll ever be able to resolve it fully, other than accept it and just letting go of what the outcome could be, and just letting the outcome be what it is. I'm doing my
very
part.
Stoic.
Yeah, it's just like it's in God's hands now. Like I've done my part, and it's in God's hands now.
But you still think about it at night.
I'm always going to think about it. Yeah. So it's
that's
not
the
something
human. That's the human in us. Yeah.
I haven't figured out how to do it completely. Right. That's why I meditate. That's why I journal. It's my place where I find that inner peace. Where it's like, okay, like here's where I am, and this is what it is. It is what it is. And
when I journal, one of the benefits for me is, besides the fact it can be so fun, it just can be. I find it fun. I laugh sometimes when I'm writing, because I'm revisiting either what I've done many days or weeks or years prior, or what happened today.
Yeah.
But it's like, if I'm not feeling great, I can create an odd but very useful separation.
Okay.
When I go and I write it out, and when I'm done, it's there now. It's not really in here anymore.
Yeah,
and I'm not 100% with that.
Yeah.
But it's helpful. And I've tried to convey that to people, because they don't want to write, or they don't want to journal. I said, sometimes it's a good way to take negativity that you're feeling or dwelling with, and put it in a quote unquote physical place.
Yeah, exactly.
And it will leave you.
Yeah.
It can leave you.
Yeah.
And it happened last night. I was like, not in the best frame of mind, and trying to analyze why. And when I was done, an hour and a half later, it was kind of gone.
Yeah. That's what journaling
It's an amazing, it's almost like a superpower. It
is definitely very freeing. If you're,
that's the word.
If you're open,
that's the word.
If you're open with it, right?
That's the word.
Be open to journaling.
Oh, it's got to be an extension of you. If there's any wall built there that you won't be honest with yourself,
trying to like worry about what you're writing.
Of course. Yeah. Once you break that down, I think and I broke that down decades ago. You have to.
You just got to write.
You have to trust yourself.
100%. Yes.
And that's a deep conversation, because I heard someone talk about journaling 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And the thing was, it's never going to be effective until you trust the author. I'm like, oh man,
that's true. Yeah.
I'm like, of course I trust myself. But I mean, was I thoroughly being 100% honest on that paper?
I don't know. I think that is something that we all struggle with, trusting ourselves. Like, I tend to think I trust myself, my ability, more so than anybody. But there are still moments where I doubt myself. There are still moments where I don't trust what I'm doing, but I'm being compelled to do it.
But you also can be honest with yourself that you don't trust yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
That fact.
Yes, absolutely.
The delusion comes when you can't be honest with yourself, because
that self-awareness, that self-awareness and that honesty with yourself, truly, it changes everything. It really does.
Right.
But people don't want to do it. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't either. It bridges with humility and everything else. But the only thing I can come up with, Rocco, is I've thought about this for so long. I think we don't like, and I didn't come up with this, but someone once said, we don't like to sit in it. No. Whether it's our mess, whether it's our circumstance, whether it's a circumstance we didn't create, whether it's a circumstance we did. Yeah. We like to mentally detach. It's like we oftentimes strive for mental detachment. We don't like sitting in our mess.
That's why we have social media and video games. It's the way to detach yourself from the physical world.
It's like an escape almost.
It is. I mean, it is. Absolutely it is. And it's it has broken down the ability of humans to develop deep relationships.
Even with themselves.
Exactly right. Yes, absolutely right.
I really believe that.
100%. It's a challenge for everybody.
I think depending on how deeply one plays with virtual or with social, that detachment from one's life is a problem. Yeah, it can be.
Listen, man, I get it completely. I see it. I watch it happen, and it can be a detachment from people. It's an escape. It's a reality escape. And to me, it's like, if you're escaping from reality through that, then just why don't you take a step back and fix your reality if you can, or at least make adjustments.
Make the place you live more comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. And the best way to do that is through self-honesty.
Yeah, absolutely. But people have a hard time being honest with themselves.
Yeah,
they really do.
It's not pretty.
No, it's not, man. It's definitely not.
All right, buddy. Always a good one, man.
Absolutely.
Always a good one. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We'll see you next week.
Definitely.